Chuck's on 85th in Seattle, Washington, United States of America. Welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, we're discussing cyclist habits that really annoy car drivers. Should we do anything about it?
Plus,
Do you get dropped in the first 20 seconds of a group ride?
I mean, that would always make me nervous.
Personally, I will go through a red light. I mean, there's just no thought gone into that whatsoever.
And it was generally quite concerning.
Not killed anyone in 100 years. Is it dangerous?
This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that French pro Kevin Avois needs a new chamois after his hand slipped off the bars and he's dumped feet out of the pedals straight onto his top tube.
Oh, that was well saved, Kevin. Well saved.
Yes, asked how he felt after that near miss, Kevin said, "I feel very lucky."
We also learned that legendary sprinter Mark Cavendish has still got it. It being speed and pointy elbows. At the Tour of Colombia last week, he won a stage after an exemplary lead out from Case Bowl and Astana's new recruit, Michael Morku, and also a bit of help from his elbows as well.
Yes, probably. Early days, of course, isn't it, in the season? But a win's a win,
Yeah.
and that looks to be a trio to be reckoned with.
I think so, yeah. We also learned, thanks to new research, that cities with the highest levels of cycling are also the safest cities for all road users. Now, this is research that will not surprise cyclists, but will probably also never be noticed by die-hard car drivers. But there we go.
Talking of car drivers, Si and I were chatting over coffee this morning and basically trying to pinpoint exactly what it is about cyclists that so many motorists seem to hate so much.
Yeah, and so riveting was our discussion that we thought we'd use it as the main talking point here in the GCN show. In all seriousness though, it is interesting, isn't it, to take a deep dive into what exactly aggravates drivers so much about us.
Yeah, we've narrowed it down to 7. I think
Just
we could have come up
7.
with 20 or so, but in no particular order. Number 1, cycling to abreast.
Yeah, which is perfectly legal here in the UK and in many other countries too. But I can see how this could be construed to be a nuisance. Yeah, you are taking up more of the road and therefore a vehicle needs to move out further in order to overtake.
Yeah, and depending on the width of the road, it may also mean that they can't safely overtake you when there's oncoming traffic, whereas they could if the cyclists were one behind another.
Yeah. I think it's more than the practical restraints though, isn't it? I think, as mentioned, it's kind of construed as cyclists willfully obstructing the road. And I do get that. Like, if I'm with another rider, then we'll tend to ride to rest when there's nothing around us. But as soon as we hear a car approaching from behind, we single out so that they can overtake more easily.
Yeah, I do exactly the same thing. It feels like the courteous thing to do, doesn't it?
It does,
to
yeah.
single out, even if you're within your rights to remain two abreast. We also used to do it on group rides.
Yeah.
But depending on the size of the group, singling out on a group ride can make that group very long and therefore very hard to overtake. You need to have a very long, straight piece of road to get past a long queue of cyclists.
You do, yeah. Good luck trying to explain that one to an angry motorist, though. No, honestly, this is better for you, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, number 2, erratic or unpredictable manoeuvres. Now, this, in part, is the problem that driverless cars face. Cyclists, apparently, are the hardest of all road users to predict via AI. That's particularly pertinent, given that a cyclist was actually hit by a driverless car in San Francisco last week, wasn't it?
I get the frustration on this one as well. I mean, it's the same if any vehicle doesn't indicate what they're about to do, isn't it? It's just annoying. But I think most of us here at GCN, and probably most of you watching this at home, have been cycling long enough to ride in a responsible and predictable manner out on the road. But there are, of course, other people on two wheels who aren't so responsible, and we're all grouped in the same category, of course, cyclists.
Yeah, although I think one of the factors that makes this worse is the wide variety of cyclists out there, okay? So thinking more about this, some cyclists will ride at 10k an hour, that's totally fine, and then others will ride at 40k an hour down the same stretch of road, and therefore have to act in a very different way. So I mean, we are just naturally hard to predict. Do you know what I mean? Whereas cars, there wouldn't be that discrepancy.
Not generally, no. Not to that degree, anyway.
No, but anyway, there we go. A similar note, number 3, cutting through traffic. Now, either up the middle of the road, down the inside, or in fact both, actually, whilst weaving around all over the place, whenever traffic is slow or at a standstill.
Again, now, I sort of feel like that can be done in a safe way or a completely irresponsible way. The most extreme examples I could think of would be those cyclists that we've all seen on social media wheeling or manualing down busy urban streets and just being a general nuisance.
General nuisance.
Yes, do I sound old?
Yes, you do, yeah. Cyclists just being a general nuisance by doing wheelies.
Yes. I mean, it's impressive, but I can understand why motorists would find it quite aggravating.
Yeah, there was one I saw actually on Twitter last week where there was like London cab drivers had shared this video of this fixie rider like just breaking every rule in the book. And then a load of cyclists chipping in underneath going like, nah, mate, I think this is fake. I think this is fake. I think it's fake. Anyway, it wasn't fake. It was literally just a guy breaking every rule under the sun. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably, again, about less being an actual hazard or a danger. Because if traffic's stationary and a cyclist weaving around all over the place, like, I mean, in a car, you're perfectly safe. Yeah. But I think it's just more, again, about looking like the cyclists are flouting these rules. If you're stuck in traffic, seeing someone that is not stuck in traffic is going to be really triggering.
Yeah, bloody cyclists.
Exactly, nuisance.
Yes, right, number 4 then. Cyclists do not pay road tax.
Oh, this is a classic one, isn't it? Yeah. What right do we have to be on public roads when we don't pay anything towards their upkeep? And you can't help but feel smug when you point out that there is no such thing as road tax here in the UK, and in fact in many parts of the world as well. The tax is on vehicle emissions. So, I mean, it sounds bonkers, doesn't it? But an Audi Q8 e-tron, like a car that looks big enough to eat other cars, bigger than your average truck, isn't it? And that doesn't pay road tax.
No, very true. Although here in the UK that will change next year. So we'll lose that line or argument.
We will lose, yeah.
However, the fact is that a lot of cyclists are also car drivers, of course, and therefore they do pay vehicle tax, which helps in the upkeep of the roads. Right, along similar lines again, number 5.
Sorry, I think pedants there would say that actually a lot of the road budget comes from central taxation and not from vehicle exercise duty. Really? Yeah, but I think so. I think I've read that line of argument. So basically everyone pays for the upkeep of roads, whether you're a car driver or not.
Well, that might negate a couple of extra negative comments beneath this video.
Well, let us know if you are up to date with your UK rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right, along similar lines again then, number 5 is bikes do not have licence plates.
That's right, and therefore we cannot easily be identified when we're breaking the rules of the road. It's a subject in itself, of course, and one that will take far too long to delve into right now. But we did do a bit of digging, didn't we, to find out if there are any countries that do require bikes to have a registration plate of sorts.
And there is one, isn't there?
There's indeed,
one country in this world that requires registration plates for bikes. That country is North Korea.
North Korea, yes.
I think that says a lot. It doesn't really feel like there are many things happening in North Korea that the rest of us should then be copying.
No, that's right.
Number 6 then, riding through red lights.
Oh, it's not a good look.
No.
Is it? No, I mean, it's something we've discussed on this show before. Personally, I will go through a red light if it's one of those ones that won't change for bikes, because it's doesn't know we're there, and also if there are no vehicles around. If there are vehicles around, then I won't, mainly because I don't want to be that cyclist that adds to the grown negative attitudes towards other cyclists.
No, I'd be the same, although I have changed, I would say, over the years. I often used to go through red lights when it was safe to do so.
Back when you're a nuisance.
Yes, even if there were people around that would see me breaking the rules of the road, but that was about probably 15 years ago now.
Cervelo test team days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't care, did you? You were on the Cervelo test team.
No, just had a big E on my back. Easily identifiable.
Right, number 7, perhaps the biggest reason we could come up with why some motorists hate cyclists is for the simple reason that we exist.
Yeah, the sheer presence of cyclists is enough to annoy some drivers, no matter how well behaved they are. It's a bit depressing if you think about it too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's certainly something that I've personally encountered. I distinctly remember being at a pub a few years back and listening to a bloke who didn't know that I was a cyclist, basically effing and blinding about all the reasons why he hated cyclists as a whole. And it was generally quite concerning to realise that there are people out there driving large lumps of very heavy metal around who have like a red mist descend upon them the moment they see a cyclist on the road in front of them.
Yeah, and you know what? It's worse as well for women cyclists, particularly. So the London Cycling Campaign, I saw surveyed female cyclists last summer. The results came out recently, and they're absolutely shocking. So 93% of respondents said that a driver had used their car to intimidate them, and verbal abuse was equally as common as well. Get off the road, apparently, being the most frequent, but also stuff that specifically targeted them as female cyclists as well, which genuinely makes me feel really angry.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No.
Well, this is the part of the show where we normally ask you for your thoughts, but we're not quite sure exactly what to ask you. How does it make you feel, I guess?
Yeah. Why do you think drivers hate cyclists? We should have asked that guy in the pub.
Well, I mean, the answer to that question, I think, would make for quite negative reading in the comments, wouldn't it? Maybe leave that bit.
Yes, no, I guess so. Perhaps the most constructive thing would be to ask if, as cyclists, we can do anything about it. Because at the end of the day, I do firmly think that people's behaviour isn't defined by their mode of transport, right? So what is it about cycling that is annoying to car drivers? Because it's not cyclists and drivers, because very often people do both.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
All right, and extra points then to anyone who quotes our transport historian that you would have seen on the channel a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Some big clues in that, I think. He had the answers, didn't he? Right, let us know, though, in the comments section, genuinely, what you think about this. And, yeah, whether you'd like to join me and Dan for coffee next week, because, you know, it's riveting.
It is riveting,
yeah.
Yeah. It's normally just the two of us. It used to be more.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, we're going to start with the news that Rigoberto Urán is set to retire at the end of this season.
He's arguably the most famous cyclist in Colombia, isn't he? As much of his personality, I think, as his results on the bike, he's certainly got a persuasive character, hasn't he? We learned that late last year because he managed to get Wout van Aert to do some what can only be described as dad dancing, can't it, at the Rigo after party last year.
Yeah, he will be missed, won't he? He has been great for the sport. Also, his start in cycling, his start in life, is a really impressive story. You know how he managed to become a pro cyclist because I don't know it. Yeah, I remember when we were out in Colombia for GCN Plus, all those years ago. We met up with him, and he was talking about how, like, I think he'd been basically on the streets involved in drugs and stuff. Yeah. I think it was as hardcore as that, and then look what he's become. Wow. Amazing, yeah, truly impressive guy. Anyway, sticking with pro cycling, there was an interesting article on our own website last week,
globalcyclingnetwork.com.
I maybe mess it up there. By Killian Kelly, who you will have seen in Saturday's video here on GCN. For some reason, he seems to have found some time to write around his strenuous training schedule for the Tour of Flanders Sportif in 7 weeks' time.
Yes, and anyway, the article questioned whether there's really a financial crisis in pro cycling, which is something that's often talked about, isn't it? The lack of stability, should I say, for top pro teams who rely, of course, solely on money from their sponsors. However, a graph in the article highlights there's never really been so much stability in the sport at the top end if you measure it by how long current Tour de France teams have been in existence.
It's a very impressive graph, isn't it? It's a bit wibbly at the start, and then it just trends
very upward trajectory.
Upwards, yeah, from is it the 80s? I think it's the 80s.
No, 2000s.
Oh, is it? Serves me right for not looking at the article. I'm sorry, Killian. It trends upwards from the 2000s. But anyway, the article goes on to question exactly what problems pro cycling is currently trying to solve. And it's quite thought-provoking, isn't it? Rider wages have never been higher than they are now, even taking into account inflation. New sponsors are still coming in. Red Bull has just taken a majority stake in Bora Hansgrohe, for example. So why the need for this much talked about Saudi-backed Super League?
I guess plenty will give a counter-argument to that, of course. But it is certainly food for thought, as you said.
Yeah.
Next up, then.
He doesn't go into women's cycling, does he, in that article?
No, I don't think so, no. I mean, much less history, of course, to go on and to see graphs like that of how things are changing. But even on the women's side, there's long-standing sponsors within the sport at this point, and it does feel like it's on a constant upward trajectory.
Salaries are going up, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Next up, here is a slightly amusing but slightly depressing story from here in the UK. So the folding bike manufacturer Brompton are trying to build a new state-of-the-art eco-sustainable factory in the south of the country. However, they currently can't get it past the local authority planners because they haven't given enough consideration to car drivers.
I love this. So Brompton want their employees not to have to drive to work. The planners, however, say that people have to be able to drive. But I guess you need some provision for those who literally can't take public or active transport to work. But when you think about the terrible token gesture cycling provisions that are tacked on to new developments, it does feel like they're operating double standards here a little bit, doesn't it? But anyway, we're not privy to the finer points of their planning decisions, so what would we know?
Exactly. Well, there's plenty of evidence of crap planning out there all over the place.
Well, yeah, there is, yeah.
The Discerning Cyclist blog has posted a thoroughly amusing article covering the 13 worst bike lanes in the world.
Yeah, I particularly like the one in Romania where there is literally a tree blocking the entire path, helpfully with a big white arrow painted down the middle.
Well, judging by the muddy track worn into the small patch of grass next to the wall, it is possible to squeeze past that. Just about. The one in Hungary actually looks quite fun.
Well, doesn't it? At regular 5 metre intervals, they have built jumps, basically, into this bike path. For a certain type of commuter, myself included, that could be a little bonus. However, this one from Italy, which to my mind just looks like a bunch of random painted arrows and stencils of bikes. I mean, there's just no thought gone into that whatsoever.
No.
Utterly confusing.
Less is more, guys. Less is more.
Yes, indeed.
That said, I would rather have some cycling infrastructure than none at all. But it does make you think sometimes that bike lanes are what local authorities work on at 4:45 on a Friday afternoon or something.
That's it, yes. I'm all for relaxed creativity at 4:45 on a Friday, but not when it involves a giant tree in the middle of a bike path. Anyway, this also caught my attention, actually. Again, here from the UK, a church in England is having to consider removing historic railings from outside it because, I quote, they might impale cyclists.
So in the last 100 years, we understand that no one has been impaled, but it would be a little bit to go that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I do not
That was the
fancy
end of
being
your life.
impaled on a railing. But anyway, there's an interesting thought, isn't it? If it's not killed anyone in 100 years, is it dangerous?
No, but there's counter-arguments to that as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. Right, now over to the cycling capital of the world now. This news from the Netherlands. The Dutch police are doing a spot of testing of e-bikes to make sure that they are legal.
Yes, i.e. speed restricted to 25 k's per hour and not overpowered. The fine is a whopping 290 euros.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I mean, it's not massive, I suppose, in the grand scheme of
Well, it's
things,
quite
is it?
a bit, I would say.
Yeah, but are you likely to get caught?
I don't know how prolific or numerous.
No, I don't know.
these,
Can you imagine what would happen if they tested Matthew Van Der Poel not on an e-bike? I mean, he could go way faster than 25k an hour, could put out miles more power.
True. But we'd be all right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fine.
I feel quite fine to go over to the Netherlands and ride a bike.
Yeah, you won't get fined. Right, some indoor training news now, and Wahoo and Zwift are collaborating on an indoor trainer called the Wahoo KICKR Core Zwift 1, which basically brings together two existing products, the KICKR Core and the Zwift Hub.
So the KICKR Core being the gold standard of entry-level trainers, and then the Zwift Hub being the innovative single cog that gives you virtual shifting through 24 gears. It means that your trainer can be adapted to fit basically any bike without faffing with cassettes, etc.
Yeah, perfect for multiple bike households.
Yep.
I think. Now, the added bonus of this bundle, other than pairing the improved accuracy of the KICKR Core with the Zwift Hub, is that you also get a year's free subscription to Zwift as well.
Yeah, it's priced at $599 or £549, and the same in euros. Sticking with Zwift for a sec, the virtual climb portal this month leads you to a true megastar in the world of cycling climbs, a behemoth of the road.
Yeah.
Cheddar Gorge.
That's right. Now, some of you at this point might be thinking, what? A road named after a cheese? But no, this is the very place that gave its name to the cheese. And it's a road that we've done a lot, haven't we? We've done a lot of filming on it because it is literally almost in our backyard.
It's not a super hard climb, is it?
It's not,
I mean,
is
it's
it?
fairly long by English standards. Steep at the start,
Yeah.
but after that, it's basically falls flat, isn't it?
Yeah, basically the whole way up.
You know I don't like to brag,
No, yeah.
but I once held the Strava KOM on Cheddar Gorge.
Was this before anyone else uploaded to Strava?
No, it was Tour of Britain.
2011.
Yeah, I guess it was before most people were using Strava.
Yeah, I didn't upload to
Held
Strava
it for a long
that year.
time though, until the Tour of Britain went up Cheddar Gorge again, and now I'm something like 58th place.
58.
I don't know. I'm certainly not on the first page.
Because in 2011 we didn't go up there that quick, did we?
No, we didn't. No, wish we had.
Yeah. You still got the. You haven't got the KOM.
No,
on Old
Feather
Bristol
bloody
either.
took it. Feather took my KOM, which I thought would never be beaten. We were going fast.
We did go fast up that old Bristol hill that year. Yeah.
Anyway, we will finish Cycling Shorts by announcing the winners of our Precision Fuel and Hydration giveaway. So that was $250 of products and a one-to-one consultation that were on offer for 3 lucky people. Those 3 lucky people are... Oh yes, we need...
Bear with it. Couldn't remember those names for all of that time. you got it up there?
Almost.
Hold on.
Right.
You 3 lucky people.
It's as good as a drum roll, wasn't it? A long wait. The 3 people are Toby McKay, Ian Hickinbottom, and Andy Peeling.
There you go. Well done, guys. Yeah, we'll be in touch if we haven't already. And that's super cool, isn't it? That one-on-one consultation, that'd be worth its weight in gold.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They're good prizes. I always wonder what it must feel like to watch a show and have your name read out because you're never going to expect it, are you?
There you are, no.
Never happened to me.
Yeah. The salt stuff. Seriously, it's blown my mind, that. Yeah. You know, it was 12 years ago now, nearly 13 years ago, that Tour of Britain, KOM.
Crikey.
That is a long time now.
It is a long time. Hack / bodge of the week now.
Napping there.
Upload.globalcyclingnetwork.com is where you need to head to upload your hacks and bodges. Whilst we're at it, actually, we could remind people that that's also the place where you can upload your welcome to the GCN show videos.
That's
so
right,
please
yeah.
feel welcome to do exactly that. First up this week, from Julian Alan Philippe.
Hey!
Julian Alan Philippe. 8Ks into a festive 500 ride just outside of Vancouver, I heard a rattling behind me. Looked around and found the bolt holding the fender into the frame had jettisoned loose whilst JRA...
Just riding along.
Crikey, I never heard that in my life. Or read it in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, spotted a building site ahead and stopped to look for some debris to make a quick fix to get me home. Part of the fencing wire had come off, so I used some of that to secure the fender and make it home.
There you go. I am liking that. I think that is very cool.
It's quite a reasonably neat job for a roadside hack.
Isn't it?
as
I'm
well.
also going to turn my phone on silent.
So I did notice that. It's quite rude.
Sorry about that, everyone. Sorry. I've not been doing this very long.
That's a vintage zip quick release, isn't it? Cool, really cool.
Very cool, yeah, and I like that. I like the hub colour as well. I mean, I have a feeling that's probably going to be one super cool bike.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate roadside hack, isn't it?
Definite hack for
Yeah,
me as well.
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, love that. Well done, Julien Alaphilippe. Okay, Thomas sent this one in. He is from Mainz in Germany. He said, I use a trackball when riding Zwift, mounted with Velcro on a Wahoo mount, much better than soaking the mouse or keyboard with wet hands, and you don't have to contort yourself as well. That looks quite neat, doesn't it? I'm sort of trying to get my head around it.
You just sort of track around and press the button on the side, don't you?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, I'd say that's a very neat job as well. And offers a solution. I mean, another person like you, Si, that sweats a lot when indoor training.
Yeah, very salty as well. Yeah, no, I like that. So anyway, what have we got? Like a Velcro mount on the old Wahoo, and then Amazon Basics trackpad. I think that's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I find perplexing on Zwift? How people manage to type so fast, so much, and at such really difficult moments in races and rides. I'm like, that's incredible.
Like on e-bikes or something.
Well, yeah, or just maybe they've got someone to dictate for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you write this for me, please?
Yes, a personal assistant.
Basically,
for
yeah.
messaging.
Yeah, I'm impressed. If you are one of those people, can you let us know in the comment section
how you do it?
Yeah.
Taylor Preisler wrote in to say, I didn't need the stem mount that came with my new Wahoo Element bolt, so I decided to use the included zip ties to mount it to my bike rack instead. Now I have a dedicated charging station. I won't forget to charge it after a ride. Now, we had something similar a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? But this is basically, if you're listening to this on audio, forgot to do that, I think, for the first one today. But if you listen to this on audio, it's on the bike stand pole bit, just a Wahoo Element mount and a charger just beneath it with the helmets racked up as well. The whole system looks very neat because the bike's hung up there too.
It does, yeah, I like that.
Do you know we put, was it a couple of weeks ago we had the multiple head unit mounts on wood?
Mounted on a piece of
put that
wood,
on
yeah.
Instagram. I got a lot of views, that
Did
Instagram
it?
reel, yeah. People must have loved that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels like a bit of a life hack, doesn't it? As well as a life goal to have that many head units.
Yes.
Yeah. One day, I'm going to be this organised.
Yeah.
One day.
Keep thinking that as well.
Yeah, I reckon I'll be that person.
Well, you know what I'm like, it's all or nothing. It is either very, very meticulously organised, or if it's such a mess that I don't even know where to start, I leave it and it becomes more messy.
Yeah, you need a lot of time in your hands to get that organised, I think. Or either that or you just need to be organised.
It's a hack from me.
Oh yeah, hack from me, totally. I'm intrigued to know where the plug is for the charger.
Yeah,
I
can't see that in the photos, can we?
Yeah, but anyway, there we go. And that seems like a perfectly acceptable use of zip ties as well, for the record. Happy with that. Next up, Snout Apple. So, test ride with a modified front end is the description.
Oh wow.
This appears to be a dog basket.
Yes.
Which looks very cool. Is that a grab handle for the dog? Like for them to chew on, do you think?
I don't know.
There's not much keeping it
I
on.
wouldn't have thought.
Keeping
the dog in place. No, I mean, that would always make me nervous to have a sort of loose dog on. I mean, if my dog saw a squirrel or a rabbit, he'd be straight off that.
Well, yeah, my one of my dogs, when she came on our cargo bike that we had a few years ago, she hated it so much that within about 20 metres going down the road, she jumped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there was no more cargo biking with Willow, unfortunately.
No. Well, I'd say it's a neat job, and I guess that the owner there is confident that his dog is not going to suddenly jump out of it at any moment.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say hack.
Oh, yeah, it's quite really
Hack
lovely.
all the way through today.
You've got a dog rucksack, haven't you? For a dog that
Yeah, I
size.
do, but even in that, I haven't used it for years. He wasn't
big.
that keen on it to start with, and he'd gone off it even more. But yeah, I do remember he would try to jump out at points, and that's really nerve-wracking because it feels like he could get out, even though I know he couldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You need a very placid dog that likes being carted around. But
I think he used to get frustrated at how slow we were going.
yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Snout Apple. Have we said hack?
Yeah.
Yeah, we said hack. Is that full house?
It was, yeah, no bodges at all.
Whoa!
Yeah, please submit some bodges. We'll take the mick out of.
You guys are getting too good at this. It's time now for Caption competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted Camelback GCN water bottle. I still haven't.
Camelback bottle.
Yeah, I haven't asked yet. Have you asked?
No,
where they
I
are?
don't want to ask.
No, we will ask and find out for you because it's been a few weeks now. But anyway, in the meantime, here's our placeholder. This is the part of the show where you have to put a witty caption in the comment section that relates to a photo we're going to show you in just a moment. But as always, it's the results from last week first.
And this was the photo from last week. 3 riders from EF Education Easy Post, 2 of whom have the rather fetching new POC Aero Road helmet.
It doesn't even really need a witty caption. Just looking at them stood there, it's funny enough.
I said to Connor last week, it just looks even worse when you're off the bike, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no wonder Ben Healy looks a little bit sheepish. I mean, he's at least, unfortunately, easy to spot given the Irish football channel.
Right, winner is HK Road, who put caption, "What the pock have they stuck on our heads?"
Yeah, I mean that's fair, isn't it? It really is fair. Right then, get in touch, HK Road, and we will get a Camelback water bottle out to you. Hopefully with the GCN logo on. Right then, this week we've got a photo from the Vuelta Colombia, haven't we?
Tour Colombia, it's called.
Oh, is it not the
enough.
Vuelta Colombia?
Tour Colombia. Oh. Yes, this is Javier Ernesto on the podium, looking like he's about to throw a beer out into the crowd. A large glass of beer, pretty full. He's about to chuck it in, so they're going to get very wet.
It's a scene from Train Spotting, that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was going to get you started this week.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, hold my beer.
Which I think is a cracking effort.
Ah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, it doesn't
All
like
right,
he's
I'm gonna
about to
take that.
pass his beer on, doesn't it? Put your captions in the comment section down below. We'll pick a winner next week. Just before we get on to what's coming up on GCN this week, we've picked out some great comments from the last week's worth of videos. Underneath last week's show, which was about the 6 key markers of living a long life and how cycling fits into that, Ben Houghton wrote, "As an experienced ski tumbler, I believe Connor is really overestimating how comfortable falling on snow at speed is." Connor seemed very keen to give the World Snow Bike Champs a try at some point.
I can't think of a worse GCN presenter for that gig, if I'm completely honest. I think he might have to go freelance before he gets to do that one for GCN. Arbon said, "I don't know about living longer, but my early morning rides in the summer make me feel great for the rest of the day. Pure magic." I'm totally with you there. And actually, this morning I had great vibes as well. It was one of the first clear blue sky days we've had in a long time, seemingly, and it genuinely put me right up.
Yes. The weather's not been too bad over here, has it? And it is nice that it's getting lighter, bit by bit.
Yeah, although it has to be said, on my ride this morning, I spent the first half of it thinking that my power meter was under reading before spending the last half realising that it wasn't under reading and trying to wonder why on earth I was...
How did you realise it wasn't under reading?
Well, because I sprinted after a lorry to get in its slipstream, and when I sprinted full gas to get off the lorry, I saw 900 watts, which for me is probably not far off. Oi, it's not far off. So I was like, well, it's clearly like not massively under reading. So I mean, I'll calibrate it for the way home and see if I feel any better.
Yeah.
But
good luck.
Thanks. Yeah.
Underneath, I can't cycle to work, or can I? Robert Tell wrote, regarding fitness, when I started, I had to stop twice each way. A few minutes off the bike, drinking some water, and I was ready to go. After 2 weeks, I didn't need to stop anymore. Whilst James Engeldo, but I can't cycle to work, I work from home, and my wife won't let me ride my bike in the house.
Hey! Well, James, we had a few of those, but that's the perfect opportunity to go for an early morning bike ride, isn't it? Then you don't have to even worry about where you get to. You just pick your favourite route.
Yeah, exactly.
Like lockdown. That's what we all did in lockdown, wasn't it? Remember that? COVID? Yeah. Okay, can this average cyclist get fit enough to finish a cobbled classic? Rain or Shine 365 said, we need more of Killian on screen. Very relatable for me, and I should imagine many more of the GCN viewers. Yeah, plus Killian's just great value, isn't he? I really enjoyed watching that.
He's an annoyingly good presenter for someone for whom presenting is not their job, isn't he?
It's true. Yeah.
Like, really annoying.
I mean, that's a reason not to have him on screen, isn't it? Just because it just makes you feel bad.
Less the best.
You basically,
Is this the world's toughest group ride? Underneath that, Stewie wrote in, so you can get dropped in the first 20 seconds. Sounds like an average Zwift race or Zwift group ride, in my recent experience.
Did you get dropped in the first 20 seconds of a group ride? You didn't.
No, I think it was a race, wasn't it? Because you started texting me like, have you just done a race on Zwift? I mean, I was just looking for something to join in with. I wasn't necessarily looking to race.
I was looking for friends.
Yes, something to motivate me. But yeah, I was dropped very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they do, Zwift races do go off hard, don't they? But the group rides do not. I mean, it pedals for you for the first 20 seconds.
No. Well, what about the Tour de Zwift group ride?
Oh, they start from a standing start, don't they? Whereas the robo pacers, they're always moving.
I've not done one of those yet.
They really should. They're proper good, actually. They're proper good.
Meanwhile, Flinando puts, it's clear that Ollie is the faster GCN presenter at the moment, but the question is, can he keep up with the boys in the TTT? I think it's time to do another round.
Well, yeah. Faster, but at what? That is the question. Broadchurch bicycling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be quite good fun, actually, to do that.
Yeah, there could be some key differences, I think, a few years on, couldn't there?
Well, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, right, anyway. Those are all the comments.
That's all the comments. So we'll move on to what's
I feel a bit
channel
shortchanged now, yeah. I was enjoying that.
Wednesday, how to bunny hop with an expert bunny hopper.
Yeah.
It's Blake Sampson.
That's right.
He knows his stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that he's coached Hank out of all Hank's bad habits.
Crikey.
Yeah. Hank bunny hops like a roadie.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember when I did that video where I was hopping on my back wheel? The next time I came into the office, Martin Ashton said, what on earth were you doing there? That was horrific.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Completely wrong technique, apparently.
No.
Don't really know why. I mean, I don't know what's better about one hopping on the back wheel than another, but apparently mine was just not good.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, this is a long time ago.
I forgot that you could hop on a back wheel. That is impressive.
Yeah, could is
humble brag there.
Could is probably the word of use at that point.
Maybe we should dig that clip out for, it'll be lost in the archive somewhere, but presumably it still exists on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, watch this space.
Thursday, can you train without data? No, is the answer.
You can't train without data.
No, I can't train without data.
No, yeah, that'd be interesting actually. How can you train without data, perhaps? On Friday, the trouble with high-vis, it sucks. Now, this is been a personal mission of mine, okay? Because I'll put it out there, I really don't like high-vis. Not because it's not cool, which I know everyone's going to automatically assume, but there are many reasons why I don't like it, and I explain in the video, but I went to challenge myself, so I have found a professor of vision sciences who is an expert in conspicuity on the road, and I asked her, and also a professor of psychology, Ian Walker as well, and we made a little video all about that. So,
nice.
so yeah, find out whether I think most of us are doing high-vis wrong, Dan.
Right. I expect
Yeah.
you're looking forward to reading through the comments after that video comes out.
Well, I'm going to get... I'm genuinely interested to know what people say about it, actually, because, like I say, I think for most of us, we're doing high-vis wrong. I think it might be quite challenging for some people, but also, I mean, ultimately, it's quite a positive vid, I think, as well.
I am genuinely intrigued now.
Yeah, no, you should
Probably
be.
not a video I would have watched under normal circumstances, but you've sold it to me.
Well, there you go. Thanks. I'd see you all on Friday in the comment section under that video. And then what we got Saturday, weighted pro versus heavy amateur. That'll be pretty good, won't it? This is Chad Hagger, who was our weighted pro. We gave him, it was like a 25 kilo weight vest and made him race Connor up a climb. So see what happens there. And then on Sunday, the inaugural Adelaide gravel race, Raddle Gravel, one of those ones without consonants, no syllables, vowels.
Crikey, Si.
God, it's been a long day. Really sorry. Yeah.
Crikey, yes.
There's some vowels in there, aren't there? Looking at it, there's just a lot of missing letters.
Yeah, true. I mean, we're rambling at this point, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It's been a long day for both of us. I mean, that coffee meeting this morning took a lot out of us.
Was it
didn't
this morning? It feels like yesterday. It's been that long.
Right. Thank you for watching right through to the end if you've got this far. Well done against the 3 winners of the Precision Nutrition Bundle. I hope you're happy with that. We won't see you next week because I'm off for a week, but we're back in 2 weeks' time. Do you know who you're doing it with next week?
I don't know who actually is in for you next week. No, but if you are still watching or listening, more to the point as well, if you could leave a review for us on whatever podcasty thing you're listening on, apparently that'll help.
Well, as long as it's not a bad review. Like,
all right, yeah. If
you've got to this point and thought this is the worst half an hour I've ever spent listening to anything, don't leave a review.
No, you can just bugger off. But yeah, if to anyone else, then leave a review. Our colleague Steve said it'd be really good if you could do that. So,
well, let's hope that one of the 2 or 3 people still listening at this point leave a review.
Do it for Steve.